Hey there everybody, my name is Keno and welcome back to your Toronto Maple Leafs franchise mode series here on the channel. Now, in the last episode, the very first episode of the series, I asked you guys to let me know if there was any changes you wanted me to make, but also I wanted to go through and quickly make some changes because I thought I could get over some of them, but I couldn't. I edited a few players around the league, a few prospects around the league. I can't remember all of them. I believe Ryan Mast was one, Ethan Del Mastro was another, just a few different players, but I mostly edited players on the Leafs because I couldn't sit with where they were. Now, still there's some changes that I wish I could make, but we're going to stick with what we have right now. We're going to stick with the roster that we have set up right now. Okay, so the changes that I made were that I gave Ty Voigt a bit of a bump up. I actually put Spencer Silva on the Leafs rather than just on the Marlies, but still I would have signed him anyways, so I think it's more of a moot point. Aside from that, I also bumped up Roni Hirvonen, and I just made some changes to a few attributes for players like Kiefer Bellows and Noah Gregor. And I know Kiefer Bellows isn't technically a part of the Leafs. Again, I accidentally put him on the Leafs rather than the Marlies, but he's not going to be like, it's not like I accidentally put a medium elite player with like 99 overall attributes on the team. I just put a AHL top liner on the team. So I don't think you guys will kill me too much. If you do, you know what? I was wrong. Oops. But aside from that, I realized in the first video I didn't have Martin Jones on the team. I had Dryden McKay instead, so I had to send Dryden McKay out. I sent him to the Anaheim Ducks for a with the seventh for a 6th round pick. So it's as simple as that. I usually never make trades before the season starts. I just don't do that, but in this one I did. And another change I made was that I actually had Drysdale still on the Ducks, so I moved him to the Flyers and put Cody Gauthier's rights under the Anaheim Ducks. But that's all the changes that I made, and now in this first video we're going to be jumping into the regular season. Again, I don't like to make big moves without knowing how this team works, and I know the real life Toronto Maple Leafs are currently, I'm dating the time of this video, they're currently around 40 to 42 games into the season. We're halfway into the season, so this franchise mode series will be our Toronto Maple Leafs, and I bet you it's not gonna be too different than what the actual Leafs are doing. It's gonna probably be like a little bit of a middling team, and I hate it because we have such a powerful offense and a pretty dynamic defense. We're struggling on goal, we lack depth, but it's shocking that this Toronto Maple Leafs team cannot be a consistent, contending, dominant team. Like, I believe the Canucks and the Jets are much better rounded teams than the Leafs currently are. That's just my quick 2 cents. Let's get into this. Let's go to the first game of the season here against the Montreal Canadiens. And again, if you guys have any questions for me, any comments you want to make on the team or the way its lineups are looking, as again, I'll show you the lineups while I speak, you can let me know in the comments down below. I always love any type of feedback that you want on the channel or in the series or anything. Just let me know, and I'm always willing to answer your questions. But again, we have Nees, Matthews, Marner, Bertuzzi, Tavares, Nylander, Robertson, Domi, Yarncrow, and then Gregor, Kampf, Holmberg on the 4th line. I don't like Holmberg on the 4th line. I don't want to put Yarncrow on the 4th line. I don't want to put Domi on the 4th line. It just currently seems like Holmberg is the only one who can go there unless I scratch Nick Robertson. He is listed as a depth forward, but I want to try and get him into at least 40 or 50 games this season to see if we can get him to develop into that consistent NHLer. But Holmberg is a really good prospect for the Leafs. He's kind of this one that just snuck up out of nowhere, in my opinion. But let's get going here against the Montreal Canadiens, and it's gonna be weird because we do have the Montreal Canadiens series going. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's on a playlist on my channel. We'll wait. It's my normal joke. We'll wait. It's probably like a few hours at this point because it's like 10 videos in, but like, we'll wait. Don't worry. We're patient. We're patient. Anyways, let's get jumping into this first game here of our Toronto Maple Leafs season. We're going to slow sim it. Hopefully we get the win, but knowing my luck, we're not going to pull off a win here. First period. And we're up 2-0 from goals by Pontus Holmberg and Mark Giordano. So maybe I jinxed myself. Maybe we will do good. Shots are 16-9 in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's go. Second period. We double up. Domi and Nyes get on the board. Dak and Harvey Pinard answer. Shots are 31-17, but the score currently stands 4-2 for your Toronto Maple Leafs heading into this third period, and we will slow sim it, or quick sim it. I meant to quick sim it. And it looks like we did win. Caulfield gets a power play goal to make it 4-3, but then Domi puts us ahead with the empty netter. 5-3. Shots were 45-28 in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs. So we dominate that first game. If it's not just a little bit of rocky goaltending, it looks like Woll got the start there, and he wasn't really supposed to, but kudos to him for notching a win, even if it was a bit of a sloppy one. 892 save percentage through one game. We're gonna put Samsonov in. I know I have my rule of two. I know I have my rule of two, where I will usually swap goalies after 2 losses in their last 3 games. But we're going to try it out here. We're going to just go back and forth. I know Wool got a win here, but I want to see how Samsonov does. We're going to quick sim the second game against the Minnesota Wild here. And, oh, mate, Jake McCabe's out with a sore knee till October 22nd. I believe we have Lagesson up, so we're just going to rotate him in, and it's a 6-2 win. So nice win for Samsonov here. And we're going to keep him in against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are down 1-2 on this season. Let's see, game 3 of our season, and it's a 5-2 win, and Nylander's doing great. So the team is gelling all together. 3 wins through our first 3 games. Against the Florida Panthers here, we're going to keep Samsonov in, and we lose 4-1. So again, I have my rule of 2 normally, but we're going to officially change it up. We're going to get Joe Wool in the net here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Samsonov through 3 games had 2 wins and a .913 save percentage. So pretty decent handiwork there. Against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a quick sim here of game 5 of our season. Let's see how he does in his second game of the season. McCabe is fully healed and ready to come back, so we're going to jump into the line, and then we're going to see how we did in that second game of the season. That second pair did pretty rough. Pretty rough without McCabe there. So maybe Lagesson isn't a good minute munching defenseman, and it's a 5-0 loss. Ooh, okay, so that's rough. We're going to go back to Samsonov because we are on thin ice and we can't afford to really lose many games, even though we're such a top heavy team. That's it. That's just it. We're top heavy. So here we go against the Washington Capitals, game 6. We're going to keep going here probably till like the 15 game mark and then see what happens. Timmins is in the minors, and it's a 3-0 shutout for Samsonov and his former team. So that's pretty good news for us against the Dallas Stars here, who are 3-2-0 in their first 5 games, and we lose 4-1 to them. So starting to get a little rocky. We're 4-3-0 through our first 7 games of the season. Game 8 against the Nashville Predators. And Fraser Minton is injured down in the AHL. That's fine. Elias Samsonov is out till December 9th with a herniated disc. Oh, rough and tumble. We're going to call up Martin Jones now. Get him into the NHL. See how he does in this backup role. Maybe give him a few starts if Wool can't get his footing. But we're going to see here. Wool's going to take the starting position, and it was a 4-2 win against the Nashville Predators. Up against a really struggling LA Kings lineup here. No, we're not accepting any trades right now. Game 9 of the season. Matthews currently has 9 points in 8 games. Make that 11 points in 9 games. But it's a 3-2 loss for your Toronto Maple Leafs against the LA Kings. This is down in the minors. So I'm going to quickly edit these lines, and I'll be right back with you. All right, lines are edited down in the AHL and back in the NHL. I think we're okay. We know that Samsonov is out for a bit. I don't think we have to make any changes necessarily, but here we go. We're going to slow sim game 10 against the Boston Bruins here and see how our team does, if we'll have a 500 record through our first 10 games or if we'll eke out a win here. Let's see. First period, 1-0 for your Toronto Maple Leafs from a goal by Kalle Järnkrok against Linus Ullmark. Shots are 13-11 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's see. Second period, 3-2 for the Leafs. Matthews gets us up on the power play. Then Derek Forbort gets one for the Bruins to bring it to 2-1. Liljegren makes it 3-1, and Zacha brings it to 3-2. So we're still leading, and we're still leading the shot department 25-23. Let's see how this third period goes. Let's see. Third period, they tie it up from a goal by Oscar Steen early into the third, and then the score kind of holds. Shots are 40-29, so Ullmark is putting up a wall against us. Let's see. We're going to slow sim this overtime period here. It's back and forth action. Back and forth action. And it's to the shootout. Let's see what happens. And we lose in the shootout. Goal by Charlie McAvoy puts the Bruins ahead. And we are 5-4-1 through our first 10 games on the season. So what did I tell you? We're not even currently in a wild card spot. We're actually sitting out of a playoff spot behind teams like the Senators, the Canadiens, and the Red Wings. So let's take a look at how everyone is performing this early into the season and see if there's any line changes we need to make. So Nyes with 7 points in 10 games, Matthews with 12 points in 10 games, and Marner with 12 points in 10 games. Bertuzzi with 5 and 10, which is pretty fair. Tavares with 5 and 10, which is not good. And Nylander with 9 and 10. So he's not doing as great as he did in the real life NHL, but he's still doing pretty decently. Robertson with 1 goal through 10 games, Domi with 5 points through 10 games, and Yarncrow with 5 points through 10 games. So Robertson's really struggling. Maybe we take him out of the lineup for a bit. Gregor, 1 assist through 10 games and a -4. Kampf, 1 goal through 10 games and a -5. And Holmberg, 2 points through 10 games and a -4. So we're going to mix things up a bit. I'm going to quickly tinker with the lines, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so what I've learned through the first 10 games of the season is that Joe Woll is struggling really badly in net. But also, we were having a really bad fourth line, and Robertson wasn't converting. So what I decided to do was bump Holmberg up to the third line and have more of a Yarncrow, Holmberg, Nylander line on that third line. It's interesting. It's a Swedish connection. Let's see how they do. I'm also going to give them the starting line because I can't hurt Nylander's morale. He is a first liner, and now he's playing on the third line, so we got to definitely give him more ice time. On the second line, it's Matthew Knies with Tavares and Bertuzzi. I think that's a pretty good, well-rounded second line. And then connecting Domi and Marner back together, it'll be Domi, Matthews, Marner on that top line. See if they can contribute and really put something together. We're just going to mess around with the lines a bit. We have a good team. It's not about really finding who is the best. It's about finding who works well together. Do you know what I mean? And defensively, I didn't really make any changes. It's Riley Brody, Benoit McCabe, and Giordano Liljegren. Everyone's kind of doing pretty decently. Benoit's the only player who's a minus currently, but that might be from his time with Lagesson when McCabe was injured. And again, as I said, Woll has been really struggling. So Martin Jones, the 33-year-old netminder, is going to get the start for the next few games here. And the next game will be against a struggling Buffalo Sabres team. So let's see how we do, if we can pull a win out of our hats and get us going again in this season. The Sabres are currently 3-6-1 through their last 10, and we are 5-4-1 through our last 10. So we're both they're a little bit of a sub 500 team. We're exactly a 500 team. We'll see what happens. We're going to slow sim this one, see how things go, and then continue with the next few games. And we're probably going to wrap it up around game 15 here. Maybe further, not sure. I don't want to go too deep into it because I want to hear your guys' feedback. So first period against the Buffalo Sabres, who already have a shot on the net. Weird. First period, and it's 1-0 from a goal by William Nylander. So already that third line has contributed. It wasn't a power play goal, so I'm happy with that. Shots of 15-13 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. Going into the second period, here we go. The score stands 1-0 for your Leafs. Shots are 24-22 again for your Toronto Maple Leafs. So we're shutting it down. Very good game by Martin Jones. We're going to slow send this third period here and see just what happens. The Sabres are starting to put some shots on net. We're still... Oh, they have a power play. Maybe they'll contribute. No, I keep saying contribute when I mean to say convert. Oops. Okay. Just a few minutes left in the game. Just under 5 minutes now. And we put it up 2-0 from a goal by Tyler Bertuzzi. 3 minutes left in the game. Let's see what happens. Another goal, empty netter by Jake McCabe. Oh, and then with 21 seconds left, Alex Tuck has to break the shutout for Martin Jones. What rudeness. What obscure behavior from the Tuck monster. Rude, rude, rude. Shots were 37-22, I believe, in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs. No, 37-28, I think. So, very good game for Jones regardless. And Leafs win 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres. So we're now 6-4-1 through our first 11 games of the season. Let's keep going here. A few more divisional teams before we go out west to face... No, we're staying here. We're going to face a Western rival in the Calgary Flames. Okay, so game 12 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. No, I don't want Brendan Smith. And we lose 5-3. Okay, and then game 13 against the Ottawa Senators. On a special day, Simon Benoit is out till November 29th with a hip pointer, so we gotta put Lagesson back in. Oh, and it's another 5-3 loss. So that's 2 losses in 3 games. That means Jones, you're out of the net. It's back to Joel Woll, and it's not like he's done much better, but we gotta see and hope he can get his game going. Another lineup change I'm going to quickly make is putting Giordano on that second line with Jake McCabe, and we're going to start the first line of Riley and Brody every night. I don't know what's going on, but this team's having some sort of fault somewhere along the lines. And it probably has to do with that fourth line combination of Gregor and Kampf. Maybe they shouldn't be together. We'll have to see what we can do here. Let's keep going against the Calgary Flames here. We're going to quick sim this one. And it's a 7-2 win, so very good game. Mitch Marner takes the point lead for the team with 17-14. Let's go game 15 of the season against the Vancouver Canucks. I don't want to trade any players right now. And it's a 5-2 win, so back-to-back great games from the team and from Joe Woll especially, as we win both of them against the Flames and Canucks respectively. Let's see how he's done. He played 2 games and now he's up to a 900 save percentage, 7 games played, 3 wins, 303 goals against average, 900 save percentage. So that's pretty decent. Martin Jones, again, we just need him to be a third goalie, so if he can contribute some wins, but he already has 1 win in 3 games, then that's not too bad. As for the lineups, Domi with 11 and 15, Matthews with 17 and 15, and Marner with 19 and 15. So top line is just producing. Nyes with 9 and 15, Tavares with 11 and 15. So he's starting to get his game going. Bertuzzi with 10 and 15. So that second line is doing great. And then Jarnkrok with 8 and 15, Holmberg with 5 and 15. So he's doing decently. And Nylander with 15 and 15. Everyone's starting to get their game going except for that fourth line. I don't even want to give them ice time. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't. And then defensively, Riley with 8 and 15, Brody with 3 and 15, Giordano with 5 and 15, McCabe with 7 and 12, Lagesson with 3 and 5. Wow, impressive. Still a minus though. And Liljegren with 2 and 15. So I want to kind of get Liljegren higher up. Maybe if we do something like that, McCabe, Liljegren, we'll try this out. I know the team just got back-to-back wins. I do want to get Robertson back in the lineup, but where? Maybe in light of, like, McMahon isn't doing too bad. He's a -3, but he's got 2 points. Maybe Gregor comes out, but I like that speed. Okay, let's take out McMahon again. We'll put Robertson in on that bottom line, and we'll go another 5 games. We'll wrap it up around the 20 game mark here on the season. So we're about a quarter of the way into the season here. Okay, against the Detroit Red Wings in game 16 of the season, let's quick sim it. And it's a 5-1 win, so an even better win here. Marner's keeping the point scoring streak going. My words are all jumbled up. I'm sorry. We're up against a struggling Minnesota Wild team who are 4-10-2 through their first 16 games this season. So let's see if we can eke out a win. But usually, Leafs curse. If you didn't know this, if you're not familiar with the Leafs curses, one of them is that when a team is on a bit of a skid or struggling, or especially if they call up like a rookie netminder or like a player who hasn't played in the NHL before, they get the win. The other team gets the win. Leafs don't. We lose every time. And I bet you it's going to happen here. Sim this game against the Minnesota Wild. A nice little quick sim. We do win 5-3, so the game doesn't account for the curses. Okay, interesting. Now we're up against the Chicago Blackhawks here on November 24th. Let's see if we can get a win here against Blackhawks and Connor Bedard. Ronnie Hervadin's hurt in the AHL, and we get a shootout win, 4-3, and then back-to-back here against the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're keeping Joel Woll in, keeping the hot hand going. Penguins are struggling lately. It's the second half of back-to-back. It's all the perfect recipe for a loss here. Let's see, quick sim it. And it's a 5-4 loss. So we lose by 1 goal, but still it's painful. Samsonov is on the verge of coming back. He'll probably be ready right after this game here against the Florida Panthers. Oh, Benoit is back. When was Samsonov back? Oh, Samsonov was back December 9th, I think. All right, how's Lagesson done? Lagesson's got 6 points in 10 games and a +2. I love Benoit, but you know, let's keep the lineup going. Let's keep the lineup going. And against the Florida Panthers, it's a 3-1 win in game 20 of the season. So tails turned. We're now 12-7-1. We're in a divisional spot, not let alone a playoff spot. We're in a divisional spot. And let's see how everyone's done. So Domi with 14 points in 20 games is really done well for us. 22 points in 20 games for Matthews, including 10 goals. So maybe he's not getting enough shooting opportunities. I'm not sure. And then Marner with 27 points in 20 games. Really good combinations there. Nyes with 11 and 20 isn't too bad. Tavares with 17 and 20. He's really turned it on lately. I believe that's like 12 points his last 10 games, if I'm not mistaken. So he's done great. Bertuzzi with 14 and 20. Again, Domi and Bertuzzi have almost the exact same totals. It's kind of funny. Jarnkrok with 11 and 20. Holmberg with 9 and 20. And Nylander with 22 and 20. So I don't know why, but on the third line, he's really turning up the heat. And then Kampf is 3 goals in 20 games, 4 points in 20 games for Gregor, and 1 point in 15 games for Robertson. So he's just not getting it going. I'll see. Maybe I got to put him on the power play in different situations. I'm not sure. Defensively, Riley with 10 points in 20 games, Brody with 5 points in 20 games, McCabe is currently, I think, our defensive leader with 11 points in 17 games. Liljegren with 4 points in 20 games. Giordano with 5 points in 20 games. And Lagesson with 6 points in 10 games. Not 6 points in 20, 6 points in 10 games. I think he's a defensive defenseman, so both our major shutdown D in McCabe and Lagesson are putting up the most points. It's very, very peculiar. And then goalies, Woll has become a brick wall. 7 wins in 12 games, 911 save percentage, and a 281 goals against average. Very impressive play so far. Again, Jones hasn't really played since Woll has gone on his hot run. And then we should be having Samsonov coming back into the lineup soon, and he was lights out. So now with Woll going and getting Samsonov back in, we might be an absolutely dominant team. But I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for us. It's going to be a bit of a shorter video here just to get kind of like a little taste of the waters. See what's going good for this team and see what we can do to really make them fire up and become the dominant team that they should be. I don't get how in real life, oh, the Jets are doing well in the simulation too. I don't get how in real life we struggle so much when we have pretty much a great mixture aside from that superstar goalie, but we could have the goalie in our hands, but we have a good mixture of players and we just can't put up the consistently great results. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys want to see any changes, if you guys have any lineup suggestions, I'm stumbling over every single word I say here. Sorry, it's been a bit of a crazy turbulent day for me. But if you guys have any suggestions on what you want to see or who you want to see playing with who, you just let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It helps me to grow and put out better and more content. And this is one of the examples of it. I've gotten a lot of great support lately, and because of it, I was able to put out a 4th series consistently on this channel with our Toronto Maple Leafs series. And again, there's other series currently going on. If you like Be a Pro, we have a Be a Pro series. It's fun. It's a 5'9" enforcer, defenseman, great stuff. We have a Montreal Canadiens series that's pretty realistic, and we have a Butte Bandits expansion mode series here on the channel as well. They're all listed in the playlist, so go check them out. If you got time, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure. That's my shameless plug aside. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been a blast, and I'll see you guys as we take this team probably to the trade deadline in the next video.